from shows like The Morning Show, Fargo, Landman, and Mad Men, as well as films such as Bridesmaids and Top Gun Maverick. He stars in Grimsburg, which returns for his second season, February 16th on Fox. Please welcome to the show my very good friend, Jon Hamm, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Are you nervous to be in front of 200 people?
Weirdly not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, this must be like no big deal at all because you, I guess, performed is almost a fair way to say it.
It was
at
a
the Super Bowl.
performance. It was a
You
performance.
performed at the Super Bowl. They asked you to introduce the Kansas City Chiefs, Bradley Cooper to introduce the Eagles.
Yes. They wanted famous Philadelphian Bradley Cooper to introduce the Eagles and famous St. Louisan to introduce the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
Now let me explain this to you guys. St. Louis and Kansas City are both in Missouri.
Yes.
A lot of people don't realize that.
They don't, no.
They get stuck on the Kansas part of Kansas City.
Which is very fair. And
Also
by the way,
fair.
With how things are going, it might all get renamed.
It might get renamed America Land.
Yeah. They'll just call it Missouri City.
Missouri
I think that's,
City.
Yeah, who knows?
Oh, boy.
But you got to go and do it. Now, I would imagine when you get asked something like this, it's an immediate yes, because it's such a cool honor.
Also, you know me long enough. I say yes.
You're a yes
What's
guy.
the bit? Yes and.
Yes and.
Please.
That's why, and we'll get to it in a minute, but that's why we loved you as an SNL host, is you have a terrible judgment of what
is going to be terrible and embarrass you. Yes.
Yeah.
No, don't worry
But
about
you
it.
said yes right away. And then,
Immediately.
But then, look, this is a bigger deal than maybe it sounds. Because you just had to introduce him, but
I realized that right about 5 seconds before it all happened.
Right.
Because you're standing on the field of the Super Bowl, which, let me remind you, is super.
Yeah.
And there's a marching band that's going this way, and like they're getting all the Kendrick stuff is going that way, and you're standing, you're like, oh boy, I hope nobody runs me over. And then at some point, someone goes, you're on in 5 seconds, and you go, right, 5 seconds. Wait, to the live for the how many? 100 million people.
Yeah.
So
more than 100 million. Now and also, however many are there in person, and then on top of that, you got to remember it's like 125 million.
Worldwide.
Yeah, worldwide.
So here you go.
Yeah.
Here's your microphone.
And so...
Also, nothing in your ear, nothing other than a guy going like, go.
And so do you feel like the nerves got the better of you?
Well, I will say yes and no. And the only reason I say no is because in the moment I was like, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then I started the introduction, which I decided I'm going to be like WWE. I'm going to really sell this. This is going to be great.
I think that's a good instinct.
Yes. And, fire up the crowd. The whole team is right behind me. There's smoke. There's, I'm assuming, a flyover somewhere. We're in a dome. Why do they even do that?
Yeah. Just have like...
Just tell them there's a flyover. So I go... Kansas City Chiefs Nation! And I'm doing this as loud as I possibly can, full throat, all the air goes out of me, and I look up and I go, I'm gonna pass out. To the point where I'm like, please don't pass out on national television. I had to kind of change my stance. There's nothing to hold on to. I was like, I need to get a little wider here, because this is really gonna go one way or the other. Also, what's my next line? So I got through it. My voice cracked hilariously. I loved that too. It sold it even better.
We love it so much we have a clip.
Let's show it.
Here's Jon. Here, again,
see if you can see the part where I almost pass out.
But I think the crack is more. I'm gonna forgive the crack now, knowing that you actually were almost passed out.
By the way, saying the phrase "forgive the crack" should be on your license plate.
Forgive the crack.
Seth Meyers, he forgives the crack.
Forgive the crack.
To oh my God, just play it.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Chiefs Kingdom! Make some noise for your AFC champion and two-time defending Super Bowl champion, Kansas City Chiefs.
4 previous days of partying in New Orleans.
Yeah, all right.
Not a lot of voice left.
Super Bowl week, right?
Not a lot of voice
Do you think that
left.
when your voice cracked, like Kelsey looked at Mahomes and was like, you know this guy's from St. Louis, right?
I think they both went, wait a minute, do we have a game plan? Oh, no.
The other thing I like is you start looking back because
Where
you're
are
like,
they?
yeah, where are they?
Come on, guys.
I can't vamp.
I have nothing left in the tank. I'm out.
I got a lot more to ask you about. We'll be right back with John Hamm after this.
Oh, Flutie Patootie. You made this old house feel like a woman again.
Now that I've been in here, maybe we can try your basement next.
Oh, no. I couldn't live with myself if the women in my cross-ankled sitting club found out about that.
What if I just poke my head in?
No! It gets a bit stinky. Thank goodness there's a little vent. Anyway, I haven't even met your friends yet. Maybe you'd want to invite them to dinner.
That's great. It's the perfect way to show them how self-sufficient I am.
You're quite a man. Which makes me think maybe you're ready to go again.
No.
We're back with John Hamm. That was a clip from Grimsburg. Very fun part.
Good times.
Washed up detective.
Washed up detective in a town where murders happen on the regs, but they're funny murders.
There's funny murders.
Funny murders.
Funny people in the show this year.
They respect the crack.
Forgive the crack.
Sorry, I already forgot the catchphrase.
I thought it would be a good catchphrase because I meant it like "forgive my witty crack about you," like as a comedian. But then everybody thinks it's butt crack, and
It works both ways.
I'm bummed it's on my driver's license. So Marty Short's in this season.
The ghostly house you saw in that clip, played by Sherry O'Terry.
Sherry O'Terry, Lorraine Newman, Tim Meadows.
Tim Meadows, we have
Dratch?
Dratch plays my son. Okay.
Great.
It's great. I mean, it's such a fun opportunity to get basically everybody you know go come have fun on this thing.
Yeah.
And it really is fun. It's funny. It's hard funny. That not to give too much away, but is about a haunted house played by Sherry O'Terry, who is very horny.
Yeah.
That's about it.
There you go.
My
Everybody.
character has sex with a house.
Everybody I mentioned, of course, has SNL in common, and you are not gonna. You're gonna be sticking around because it's the big 50th
indeed.
this weekend.
Big week.
And you were a huge part of my time at the show.
yeah.
You sort of came through. The first time you hosted was the heyday of my cast.
2009.
2009.
Yeah.
And
3 times in 2 years.
Oh, yeah, it was really exciting. You, one of the great things about when you came by is the first time you came by, and we didn't know anything about you. We only knew you as Don Draper, and we didn't know if you would be
Let's
funny.
be honest, not a lot of people watch The Division.
Yeah, that was your first. And when you showed up, we all dressed in Mad Men era clothes for your first.
That is, yeah.
And
I
then
need a
you
copy of
walked
that.
into pitch, and we all just sort of filed in. And what was your take when you saw us all dressing like that?
That was my take.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys took a big swing. Okay. My favorite recollection of that, Paula Pell had somehow taped a cigarette to her finger so she could do a bit where she was smoking while she was pitching. So she didn't have to hold it. I don't know why that, but I just kept looking at it like, oh my God, what have I gotten into?
The other iconic memory of mine from the first time you hosted is it was Amy Poehler was very pregnant and I believe missed your show, correct?
She did.
Yeah,
She
because
did
that was
indeed.
the Friday night was when, you know.
Friday night, well, no, it was actually closer to the edge than that. Friday, we were up until
Right,
midnight, 1
yeah.
o'clock, laughing, her, myself, Maya. We were cracking each other up, getting everything ready for the show tomorrow.
She received a terrible piece of news.
Well, she had received earlier that week when we were doing the pre-tape with Jim Signorelli, that her OBGYN had passed away.
He was very old and had had a very long career.
Now, this is Amy's first child. She is very nervous. She's sitting next to me in the makeup chair and gets a phone call and immediately starts heaving, sobbing. And I look over and everybody goes like, what, you know, this could go a lot of ways. She goes behind the thing, she has a call, and we're all like, and she comes back and she's tear-stained face and goes, I just found out my OBGYN just died. He was very old, we didn't know, I was hoping this, that, and I said, God, Amy, that's really terrible, but you really need to pull it together because this is my first time hosting, and you better bring it. which was a big swing.
Yes. But a swing that was appreciated.
Oh, she immediately started laughing. Oh my God, a big hug, the whole thing. The Saturday day, she had her first baby and was not able to come to the show.
And you're still mad.
Which I specifically warned her about.
Yeah. Priorities were all out of whack.
All out of whack.
But it was, and again, there was many wonderful years of Mad Men after the first time you hosted. But it was, I think, for everybody, the first time they realized, oh, look at this. Jon Hamm is also very funny.
I can remember it so clearly. The first time I did read through, which people don't realize, it's about 40 sketches. It's like 5 hours long. It's it's a marathon, but it's fun. If you like that stuff, it is so fun. And with your era of cast, I was sitting next to Kristen Wiig, Bill, Forte, Armisen, you guys were all right there. Lauren sits next to you. It's like, I could do this for 12 hours. It's so fun. And so we finish read through and I go down to the dressing room to do whatever we have to do after that. And the phone in my dressing room rings, which again, this is not my dressing room. It's the host's dressing room. I'm like, should I pick this up? Is this for next week? Is this maybe somebody, is it a prank call? I don't know. And I pick it up and it's Robert Carlock, who is Tina Fey's partner on 30 Rock. They co-created 30 Rock and said, hey, you want to play a part on 30 Rock? And I'm like, am I fielding offers from 8H? This is so weird. But apparently what had happened was Tina called Lauren and said, is this guy funny? And then Lauren said, yeah, he'll do.
By the way, that's the absolute pinnacle.
Yes.
He'll do is like, if I ever got a he'll do from Lauren.
Yeah, that's you won the award.
Yeah.
And, a week later, I was working on 30 Rock, playing a perfectly normal doctor that nothing ever went wrong with.
Well, like I said, first of all, I'm very much looking forward to seeing you throughout the course of the events this weekend.
Yes, sir.
But I'm especially very happy to have, again, shared that first time you hosted and then the subsequent ones as well. It was a real blast.
Indeed. I couldn't feel more of the same. Your podcast with Andy and Yorma and Akiva reminds me of all of those days. It was, as you call it on the thing, Ann Golden era.
It was Ann Golden era of SNL, yes.
I am, which is different from the Nan Golden era, which is very, very different.
Yeah,
more of an artistic photograph thing. A lot of downtown.
Yeah.
But I look back on it with so much fondness, and obviously we're part of this thing forever, so that's the other great thing about it.
It's going to be a cool weekend.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, buddy. Jon Hamm, everybody's second season of Grimsburg premieres February 16th on Fox. We'll be right back with Emily Spivey.